Meeting is being live streamed.
Yo, what's up? This is Splendid Radio on Farside TV. The co-host Jeremy Scipio is just tapping in. 1 second on that. And but we have a special guest, DJ, record collector, Andy Perez, Spaceboy Boogie X.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? This dude right here, man. Oh boy. But man, Andy, good looking out, man. I'm glad you was able to tap in. You know what I'm saying? You one of those dudes that people really don't talk about. You know what I'm saying? They know about you, but they don't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? People aren't they're not privileged. You know what I'm saying? I can remember when you had the little storage warehouse unit down the way across the street from where you are right now. I remember going over there and you had I want to say you had the MPC set up and you had it where people could come in and shop records or whatnot, but you were playing some music and you were working on a beat. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, people probably really don't have homeboys like this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, I'm in and out of Brown's studio every day, so I'm around the producer, but I was just like, damn, this dude got hell of a records. Record heads would die to be in this environment. You know what I'm saying? Around a producer with just like hella records. But when was the first time you heard hip hop and what was the song?
The first heard it was when it was in like an electro format. You know what I mean? The first time I recall it making a huge impact on me was I was in I want to say I was starting junior high. And so,
you know what? We got the super technical difficulty going on.
Yeah. Are you connected on Wi-Fi or
Yeah, I'm at the shop, so there's like brick walls. It's really hard to get the reception in here. Let me see if I can turn on a Wi-Fi hotspot.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was gonna suggest.
Yeah, so what's up, Jeremy? We here while we let Andy get it to get his together. I'll say this, man. Your boy Chris Rock, man.
Let's go into it. We might as well go straight into it.
So I kind of heard that the special was out, but I wasn't, breaking any speed limits to get to it. And I turned somebody on to it that didn't think Chris Rock was funny at all. You know what I'm saying? Like they were like, in their mind, they're like, oh, he's corny, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, and so I was like, nah, I had to show the scene, the famous scene with Isaac Hayes and Jim Brown with
just one. How much for just one read?
Yeah. And so then, they was laughing, they was chuckling, you know what I'm saying? They got it and whatnot. And then I came and then and I started watching it. And I would say this, in my opinion, either Dave Chappelle wrote that or Chris Rock's team paid very close attention to like Dave Chappelle's formula, which it could be the formula.
Wait, what part?
Well, it was like Chris Rock would say the craziest off the wall stuff, but before you could really sink into how crazy or what he said, he would say something else that was kind of funny that would throw you off of the craziness that he just said. Kind of like how when Dave Chappelle does his comedy, and it's like a shock and awe. It's like, I mean, what do you think?
So I'm gonna give you a quick. I'm gonna let you finish because I do like where you're going, but obviously I know some behind the scenes stuff. So Chris Rock only has one writer.
Okay,
and I know exactly the guy, but he don't write. Like he just documents and say, "Hey, why don't you try this?" That's it. Mm-hmm. He's not like Kevin Hart who got 4 writers, who was his friends, his homies. He got one. Now, Chris Rock developed this set on tour with Dave Chappelle directly. They both was going, like, they had trade-off headlining. I've watched them work this set back to back. Now, is there oozing over? You know, is there thoughts that probably, you know, I give you credit for that. You're possibly right. But then also, I just say in general, just like hip hop or anything else, where when you go, who started what idea? It's kind of a hard one because, you know, Dave obviously took some of Chris. Chris took some Dave, and they both took of other people. There's a lot of that. But the one joke I'll give you credit for, where I was like, that dude sound like Dave Chappelle, was when he goes, dang, what he say? He said, oh, when he said peaches, he goes, yeah, he said the transgender joke where he goes, I prefer trans over original recipe because he said at least they can keep up with sports plays. And it was like, yeah, he should do a defensive play. And it's like, touche peaches. You know what I mean? That was very Dave Chappelle-ish. But I just want to give Chris's credit because it's when you go accusing somebody of having writers, you know, that's dangerous, man. You he'd be like, yo, you said Dave Chappelle's team wrote for Chris. I'm like, woo. But yeah, go ahead.
You know what it was? It was just the style. It was like he was saying stuff. And this, okay, I'll tell you exactly what I mean. To me, David Chappelle can say the most shocking thing in the world. And then after he says the shocking thing, you don't really get hung up on it so much. You know what I'm saying? The fact that he really just said something that was just like so shocking. You know what I'm saying? And he'll like pivot. And I feel that with Chris Rock, he never stumbled over well, I won't say what he said was off the wall. I'll just say he said some very candidly blunt things. And dude, he went hard on your boy Will Smith, man. Oh man.
Well, okay, we knew that was going to happen, and if it didn't happen, I think this special would have got critically panned. It's already getting negative stuff, but if he didn't say anything about Will Smith, they would have called Chris Rock a bitch for sure. They would have definitely said that this dude he's done. So he had to say something. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you for the most part. Like you definitely made good points.
To me, it was very good, man. It was very good, man.
I would say the part of the problem is that okay, this is a new conversation that's been coming up. I think Chris Rock hit the wall as far as like they try to do it with Dave, but I definitely with Chris. They feel like his viewpoint on life is outdated. A lot of people have been saying it. So people like you and me, technically, I've officially crossed over in the older category. You know what I mean? Like we're technically in the same category now. But you have the younger generation who are they're not the majority yet, but they will be. I say in the next 5 years, they're like Chris Rock over. And not even for the Will Smith thing, because they said he made Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, and OJ reference back to back. They said, was this 1996? So, and a lot of his points, his talking points, woke culture, what else? A couple other of his talking points, they really felt like it was outdated. Hey, technically, I liked it. And when I say technically, I mean technically. Like, I look for joke writing. You know what I'm saying? And as a joke writer, I'm like, oh, I see what he did there. I see, like, how he came at it. The beginning, be honest with you, I could have did with most of the beginning. I could have did without it. It was typical Chris Rock formula. Mind you, as a student of the craft, like if I wrote a Chris Rock bit, it would sound similar to a lot of his earlier stuff. Like if I was mocking Chris Rock, I'd be like, Lululemon, more like Lulu Lemonade. Like I would do jokes like that, mocking. So the fact that he was doing stuff like that was a little like, But then when he started talking about his daughters, I liked his abortion stuff. He started talking about the joke about his ex-wife. He said my ex-wife is a genius. He said she got just as much money as me. Not funny at all. That got me. I was like, okay, that's how I knew he was cooking. So I wish he would have got more personal. And I tell you, when it comes to older artists in general, especially hip hop, all that stuff, after you've done the hits, after you wowed the crowd and you already a household name, I feel like it's important to do concept pieces. Like, you know, like narrow it down to something interesting. I don't care what it is. I mean, it could be something as simple as like, yo, these are rich people problems, or something like, yo, this is what I'm going through directly. But placating to the masses, I think it should just kind of be over for you. And trust me, I'm somebody still trying to prove myself, so I still have to dance for the masses. But somebody like Chris Rock, it's hard because I just say from what I've seen, his intimate stuff was the best. The stuff about dating, stuff that he's going through currently in his life, great. His whole viewpoint of the world, I don't mean to agree with Gen Z, but I kind of agree. I was like, yo, your opinions are it's almost like reading news headlines. It's like, yeah, that's what people think of that. Yeah, that's what people think of that. And I don't like people who say we can't say nothing anymore because, yeah, we've been in cancel culture. We talked about this in the last podcast. It's been since at least 2015, 16. So we here now, baby. You know what I mean? Will Smith stuff could have been stronger. I feel bad that he messed up. And
he said he messed up though.
Which is great. His recovery was good. Was good. That's the problem with doing live. That's why I remember we was talking about that when the other person you don't like. This is why he can't do, you know what I mean? Like,
there's a skill set. There's definitely a skill set that comedians have where if you're on camera, you're on film, you're doing a movie, man, you could just say one-liners all day, all night. You could get animated. You have other people supporting you to help you, help you be funny. But dude, when you're on that stage, man, that's like, man, it's you.
Yeah. And people always, this is one thing I've always known, especially because right now my mother she's literally being the most critical she's ever been in my entire life. And she's been critical my whole life. She thinks she is my coach in comedy. What she don't realize is I started doing comedy because I didn't want to deal with her opinion on anything. Like I just didn't want to have to deal. It was the one area where I was like, you know nothing about this. And now she like, yeah, I get the support part because she's like, oh, my baby, get him. But then also she like, you should do jokes like this. And why don't you do it like that? And who I like? Bernie Mac, this, and that. And I'm like, okay, Mom, a question. Have you ever seen Bernie Mac live? Okay. No, but I saw the thing that he did was live, and I said, no. That's the thing that lots of people don't realize. Those things, especially Kings of Comedy, which is one of the highest grossing comedy films of all time. It was a taping. It's designed a certain way. Now I was wondering if he's gonna get back in. He's really struggling, huh?
Yeah.
But it's designed a certain way, and I'm not trying to take away from any of the comedic legends that I admire and adore. And I want to make a great special that has takes too. But live comedy and specials, two different beasts. Some people good at one, some people good at the other, some people good at both. But please don't ever, I don't care who you are, do not compare my live performance to something that was taped and had producers and had, you know what I mean? Like, because when it's produced and you got studios involved, you know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna release garbage. They gonna make that money. That Kings of Comedy was in theaters, man. You think they're gonna have somebody working out?
Hey, man.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
Chris Rock, that flub that we saw, if he wasn't doing it live, we would have never seen that. It never would have made the tape. But I just say all that to say, I like the fact that they're trying to innovate specials, Netflix, but I don't think live is the answer. I think maybe something this don't sound crazy, but maybe something more interactive, something, I don't know, but live I don't think where it's at.
They need to go back old school
Okay.
They need to get your boy Spike Lee.
Okay.
And they need to, man, Spike Lee. Because I think Spike Lee did the Kings of Comedy, right?
He did. He did. Yep.
Yeah. No, it was, man, you had dope camera angles. You had like all these nuances where Chris Rock's special by no means was it whack. It was not whack at all. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't whack. But I mean, to me, actually, I thought it was dope. You know what I'm saying? It was way more than what I thought it would have been. It was actually very entertaining to me.
Yeah. Yeah, he came with it. I mean, go ahead.
I just think that, man, he rode your boy Will Smith. Like, man, he went hard on him.
He gave him 2 minutes. That's it.
That was only 2 minutes. Oh man,
No, he only gave him 2.
That was like a fight. A fight. It seemed like it was like 10 minutes. It seemed like he just was
fights. Seconds and fights feel like minutes. So I understand. You know what I mean? Like people like, oh, I can fight. If you can last longer than 45 seconds, you're a fighter. But bro, you get winded in fights, so I can understand why. Because yeah, he gave him 2 minutes. I wish he would have did it better, and I wish he would have cussed less. If he would have cussed less, it would have hit harder. And I really wish he didn't call Jada a bitch. I really wish he didn't, because it's like, you keeping it clean. And when he was saying, he was like, all these people called him a bitch. He's like, this is calling him a bitch. This person called him a bitch. It was kind of cool because it was his way of like saying it without saying it. But then when he called Jada a bitch, I was like, dang. Now you actively calling a black woman a bitch. This is why black women don't really mess with you like that, Chris. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
yeah.
Yeah, but I'll say
you team Will or team Chris?
I'm team Chris.
You team Chris. Okay. I'm team Chris. My fiance is team Will.
I'll tell you why I'm team Chris. I'm team Chris because I think there's a backstory to it that we don't know. That's more to that where there's more to it. And we're just going off of some like superficial. And if the backstory is true, it would really make sense to a lot of it, but it's more than just them cracking jokes on each other and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a little more. I would say that there's some dating involved. I'll say there's a dating scenario
possible
that went on. There may be a little bit of a jealousy on Will Smith's part, but Will Smith signed up for a relationship. It's just, a tall order, as they would say, a tall glass of water, a tall order. And, he had to deal with it. And then maybe the relationship, 7 years ago isn't what the relationship is today. And so Will, being at the award and seeing Chris up on stage and the sensitivity and all that kind of stuff. And man, Chris Rock could have swung his head the wrong direction and Will would have went off. You know what I'm saying? And so for Chris to bag on her, or not to bag on her, but to make a G.I. Jane joke or whatever, these demons that Will probably been holding on to for a very long time. It's like, okay, now's my opportunity to do what I wanted to do.
Chris, instead of saying nobody's picking on this bitch, what he should have said was nobody knew she had alopecia. He should have said that, because that's the truth. Nobody knew, Mm-hmm. He should have came into it, smooth. But like I said, who am I to tell this comedic legend what he should do? I definitely feel like there's more to the story. Is absolutely, definitely. You're probably right, because Chris Rock was a bigger star than, how I say this. Like I don't want to disrespect, but I'm just keeping it real. You got to keep it real. That's the point. Chris Rock was a bigger star to me than he was just naturally talented. You know what I mean? Because after he did SNL, and this is me being, studying the game, he was huge, but he was trying to fill Eddie Murphy's shoes. And he was, he couldn't. And I think that was a part, because even in his own words, he said he felt like he was BSing all the way up until Bring the Pain, when he turned 30. He said, but before that, he was just, trying to be, and it's like he was Eddie Murphy. He was the second coming of Eddie Murphy. And people was like, yo, Eddie Murphy is like, extremely talented. You know what I mean? He just got all these facets and characters and dynamics, could do stand up, and he was, attractive to women. And then Chris Rock was this, skinny, weird looking guy who, he couldn't really do impressions and all that stuff, but he got in his comedy bag and he was strong. But I heard he had a lot of dating stories early on, like he dated Nia Long and other people, and he's also very raw about his opinions when it comes to these early people too. So yeah, it's definitely something there. If you look on YouTube, they actually show interactions between Chris Rock and Jada, and then Chris Rock and Will before all of this. Like, it's all summed up, like stuff leading up to. But overall, they definitely had a good relationship. Did you see that Will posted the day of Chris Rock's special taping?
Mm-hmm.
He posted on Instagram. He said, I'm paraphrasing, but he pretty much was like, let's show Jamie Foxx some love. This dude is literally one of the most talented human beings on this planet. He did that on Chris Rock Day. That's like if somebody was like, yo, on my birthday, it was like, yo, Jeremy, I love you, but Tony Baker's one of the best comedians of all time, bro. I'm like, yeah, I hear you, but not on my birthday, bro. So, but yeah, I don't think this is over. I think Will is not healed. I think Chris is not healed. I think Jada's healed. I think Jada is the smartest person in all this. And I think no matter what happens, she gonna come out squeaky clean.
Yeah, that's a fact. Well, she already has. It don't even, I think she got the sympathy. And the part that killed me was when the whole slap went down. When he said the jokes, she was laughing. When the camera zoomed over on her, so I was just kind of like, oh man, this is kind of
I feel both ways about it. I understand that, because I do understand that, but then also I'll be thinking, like, how many times did I like misreact when I really felt something else? So, but you sit in front row, these are trained front row actors. They know how to be like, oh, oh, ha, ha, ha. Oh, but yeah, man. I mean, you talk about shame on people. Shame need to be passed around. Where's security? Where's, I mean, even the camera guy followed Will on stage, man. He could have cut to a commercial break. Everybody's a villain in that scenario. People that didn't stop it. People who just sat there and watched. We got somebody in the chat want to add in Blue Dragon 7777. I'm gonna say all the sevens. It was interesting. Have you ever taken a punch after you humiliated someone? I have and shouldn't have. Duck. Team too short, although no, I'm not, which is also interesting. Oh, team short. That's funny. Too short, yeah. Team too short. I see what he's saying. Yeah. I think great work still. I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, Chris, I did like what Chris Rock said. The reason why he decided to take everything the way he did, because he had parents. I thought that statement's a clean statement. I just wish it wasn't attached to the stuff he said before and the stuff he said after. You know what I mean? Like sure, if he was in an interview and he's like, yo, Chris, why did you take that slap on the face like that? He's like, because I was raised, man. I had parents, man. I wouldn't fight in front of white people like that. Why would I embarrass Will Smith? That's my friend. Oh, that would have made it look, that would have been like ball in your court, bro. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah. You know what I mean? But it's just because it's compiled with the other stuff. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it was a joke. It was technically a fair joke. Jada looks stunning, even with a bald head. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody looking at Jada like she, like Will Smith, I mean, technically got good taste because, I mean, women be aging, bro. You know what I'm saying? And Jada look all right. She look, you know what I mean? So with a bald head, you disagree?
It's a lot of plastic surgery, man.
I'm not, I mean, look, I can't confirm or deny, but I'll just say, definitely pictures don't match up. But regardless, she, I don't think anybody would have took that like, G.I. Jane, like these are decent references. It wasn't nothing too crazy. You know what I mean? To where, like, man, that's he slapped, man. Look, man.
You don't put your hands on another man, man. That's like, that's, I mean, put it this way. I think Chris Rock did the right thing by not, because it's kind of like, dude, if a man put his hands on you, it's like, I mean, man, y'all supposed to be hugging, man, rolling around, knocking some tables. It's supposed to be all, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, if a man put his hand, especially slaps you, that to slap somebody is the most,
yes,
next to spitting on them. That's like the one of the most disrespectful things you can do, man.
Disrespectful. That's why I feel like he got a license to be a little disrespectful back, because like he said, the way he started it, I think it was intentional. I just wish he was a little more artistic about it. He's saying that these are just words compared to a man slapping you. Like it's like you said, spitting's the only thing worse. It's the only thing worse. Like, stomp me out, bro. Do not slap me. in my good suit. Get out of here, bro.
Man.
Bro, I'm a boss, bro. Don't you dare slap me, bro.
And the thing about it is, you got to think, dude, you're on TV in front of millions of people. You get slapped. And although, it didn't knock him to the ground and all that, he had to be standing there like, damn, I just got slapped.
He said it. That's what he said. He goes, I just got slapped by. So I was watching this one review person who did a play-by-play. He said Chris Rock. He said things that prove Chris Rock is a good comedian. They said good comedians live in the future. The way he spoke about it was as if he was in the future talking about the past, not a person talking about the present. He said when he got slapped, he assessed everything in a millisecond and said, he said, Will Smith just slapped Chris Rock. Like he said, he goes, he said, you guys just saw, he said, yeah, that was Will Smith. You guys just watched Will Smith slap Chris Rock. Wow. He said, yeah, like pretty much you're gonna tell everybody this is good news, you know what I mean? And also, mind you, these are the microtransactions people are not assessing. One, he did not press charges when he could have pressed charges when you're a hero. And Will Smith, you talk about things that take down people. I guess celebrity would have got you something past, but man, you talk about attacking somebody at an Oscars night is probably one of the, it's one of the most he could have been hauled out of handcuffs, dog, straight up.
Yeah, no. A lot of people call for that.
Yeah, but Chris Rock, knowing that the game is on, I think that foresight is, because I'm gonna say what I gotta say. And I don't want that same pass too. You talk about forgiveness, and he also denied the forgiveness because it would be fake to accept his apology and then So now if Will Smith wants to apologize, and I'm not speaking for Chris, this is me paying attention. Chris Rock can accept and be like, hey man, it's all good. Another thing he said was, he goes, we've all been cheated on before. What we haven't done is been interviewed by the person that's been cheating on us on live television. So while I was sucking his dick, how'd that make you feel? Oh my God. That is a great joke. Another thing I didn't mention, because I seen him work this set out from all those jokes, for the most part, I seen just about everyone. What he could not do was work out the Will Smith stuff. He couldn't. This dude did probably like 100 tour dates, and he could not talk about the Will Smith stuff because that would have immediately leaked to TMZ. Everybody would have known about it. So it's creative, but it also shows why he messed up the joke, because that was his first time saying it. That was what else I was gonna say too. There's so much meat on that bone, man.
I'll tell you something interesting on a whole nother level. I saw an interview with Deion Sanders, and I think Deion was kind of on one, but I felt him because he was being interviewed by someone who he knew. And I guess the guy was trying to be, proper.
Okay.
Or well, I'll tell you what Deion said to him. Okay. He's like, hey, man, be yourself, man. And he had to tell him like 3 times. And then homeboy finally came and was like, he was cool, but it was like he was whoever was interviewing him was kind of cooning and kind of like he wouldn't come real, but it was dope because Deion like would not go further with the interview, and he kept stopping homeboy, and then homeboy finally loosened up and then was just like whatever. Mm-hmm. But man, I'll say with Deion Sanders, dude, like people don't give him the credit that he deserves, man. Like, dude, he was that guy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He really was that guy. Football, baseball. Only thing he did, he didn't do basketball, but man, dude, he was dope in baseball and dope in football. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
What did he do with that team? He had that team situation.
Well, he was coaching Jackson State. Mm-hmm. And then he left Jackson State to go to Colorado.
Mm-hmm. Was it prayer controversy at Colorado show? He is not at Jackson State anymore. Oh, because he went and left the black spot for the white spot, and which is basically a raise and yeah, difference in pay. Yeah, and I guess they upset at him now. This just happened today. They're upset at him because I guess, black people, people don't know, black people, when we do stuff, before we do stuff, we pray. We say a little prayer. What people don't know about me is I pray before I go on stage. Like, I just something I do. I pray, I say a little prayer. And whenever I forget to pray and I have a bad set, I go, man, it's because I didn't pray. You know what I'm saying? Kings of Comedy, they had Steve Harvey and all them. They were standing in the circle doing the prayer. White people don't do that. So Deion Sanders up here praying. Hey, this is back to that. What's that dude name? Who was the football player that was praying before? Tim Tebow. Mm-hmm. Tebow, yeah, the same thing. They act like people so sensitive. They act like, oh, if you praying for one team, then you praying against the other team. Come on, man. God work in mysterious ways, man. Let him work. But yeah, Deion Sanders, you're right. More credit. I guess I will say it's a resurgence in his relevancy. It's cool to see people come from like a player aspect, and he's not taking the typical route of most people in his position who have that Hall of Fame status. They tend to go into talking head. You know what I mean?
But you got to understand though, with Deion Sanders, he was the Allen Iverson of football. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, he was the dude. Like, man, he had the girls, the partying, the every single thing. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, he was that guy, and he shaped the way that football players really shine. You know what I'm saying? Not just having the money, but actually shining. And then him being the incredible athlete he was, that's the part that was undeniable. Like, man, he not only was he like, what was his name? Prime time. It was something. It was prime time. He had some name or whatever, but he lived up to it every little bit.
I'm a breeze past this one, and then we can move on to the next one.
Yeah.
I apologize, but since we don't currently have a guest, I don't feel as ashamed of bringing this up. Last week, Nas sold out Madison Square Garden by himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He did, based upon the King Disease trilogy. I watched it and enjoyed every drop of it. I mean, look, I don't get a chance. People always guilt me about geeking out. If Nas ain't currently doing something, then I tend to hold back. But this one was so great. Did you see any of it, or did you hear about it?
You know what? I saw the clip of him and AZ together, but I really couldn't get the full flavor of it because someone had it was an Instagram clip and somebody had dubbed the audio over it, and I want to say one of them was rapping, but there was no audio, or there was audio and they weren't rapping or something, and it just kind of threw me. And so before I saw the sync issues, I was like, oh man, this is dope. AZ and Nas back together again. Like, man, he pulled him out. Woo, woo. Yeah. But when I saw the little sync issues, it just had me kind of like, oh.
I mean, it's gonna be hiccups, but what's extremely impressive, because I'll be honest, I don't know if I talked about this on here. I think I did though, but I saw Nas at the Hollywood Bowl with the Wu-Tang, when Nas Wu-Tang, was they sold it out too, but to me, it was still Nas and Wu-Tang. It wasn't just Nas by himself. And it is also Busta Rhymes, LL Cool J, Red and Meth, Mary J. Blige. I mean, and the biggest pop of that entire night is when LL Cool J came out. Like, not even close. In order of best, performer, you have Busta Rhymes. I'm sorry, it just wasn't even comparable. Red and Meth was number 2 to me. ODB's son. Non-rapper. Beast. It was everybody will tell you it was like watching, it was like watching him. It was probably better, low key. I mean, because he could move.
I've seen a show with ODB's son.
That dude can go. It's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah,
he performed better than all of them. No offense to they was cool.
He had more energy. He's going for it.
Right. It's not his song, so he can't take full credit. But I'm just talking about show. You know what I mean? Like in order, like Busta Rhymes, Red and Meth, ODB, Nas. I love him to death, and he definitely was the headliner. People who fill in the seats, we know Nas is filling the seats, but he was winded. Dude,
I'll say this: I've seen a lot of shows. We were on tour with Nas. I was on tour with Nas a European run, and then he did some states runs for a Rock the Bells, not the LL Rock the Bells, but a California based Rock the Bells concert. And I'll tell you who on that tour, it was Nas, EPMD, Farside, Tribe Called Quest.
Well, it's worth the money already.
Sheesh, man. It was a couple other big ones, though. But that's
a good show.
I'll tell you who. I'll even say right now, can't too many people mess with it. When Red and Meth do the Rottweiler.
Man.
That is.
Them boys.
Hey.
Them boys know each other, man. That's dog. Hey. Yeah, man. Yo, they are worth the money, man. I'm like,
I've seen them rip that. Bro. I've seen them perform that at least 10 times. And when that comes on, I've seen them do it in Nice. I've seen them do it in Paris. I've seen them do it in London. I've seen them do it in New York. I've seen them do it like man. I'll tell you the dope thing. When Nas and Jay-Z they had issues, and and I want to say this was 2008, Rock the Bells, and Nas brought Jay-Z out to do Black Republican, and it was just like, oh, which by the way,
I don't think I've ever seen them perform it together. It was good. Really, they got chemistry.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I seen them perform together. I seen them perform. They always do Dead Presidents. They segue whose world was it, the world is yours, and segue straight into Out the Presidents Represent Me. It's okay though.
Oh no, Black Republicans is ridiculous, dude. It was just like, but then it could have been the hype. Oh, Wu-Tang was on the tour too. Wu-Tang was on tour too. But yeah, seeing Nas come out on stage, then him bring Jay out on stage was just like, and this was like it wasn't right after the beef, but they really hadn't been public since the beef had happened or whatever. So that was was kind of dope.
What year is this?
2008.
2008. Yeah, man. Of course, is like I said, it's one of my favorite subjects, so I can talk about this forever. But what I was gonna say about Nas, like I said, him at the Nas Wu-Tang concert, he was so winded that I was like, yo, like I felt bad, dog. Like he needed to take a breath every 5 seconds. And then I'll tell you this one too. This is me reporting bad on my boy, but it's just facts. I gotta keep it factual. They closed it out on one mic, and the venue pulled the plug in the middle of one mic. And nobody even pointed out the fact that he literally needed one mic, and they took it away from him. But this concert, he rapped it all the way through. I mean, every song, everything. It had a lull part, but it was super hype. And then this song's like, y'all, he did acapella on Memory Lane. That was hard. I'll be honest with you. That song, that's on Illmatic. I love Memory Lane. I love Illmatic, but Memory Lane, I always kind of halfway listen to it. You know what I mean? Like, but dog, he made me go listen to it when he did acapella on the last verse. I was like, yo, he had this line in there where they gave him a standing O. Like, I mean, of course, it's an arena for like 50,000 people, but he got this line. He said, yo, it's as blue as the blood of my vein. Everybody was like, woo! And I was like, yo, I got hype. But yeah, it was just impressive to watch him do a whole, I don't think people realize, to do a whole show, damn near solo. No gimmicks, no pyrotechnics. You know what I mean? Just because he's a lyrical dude. You know what I mean? Like, trust me, and I would prefer, I used to didn't like concerts. I would prefer a hyper show over a doper rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, come out the sky with some wings on, bro. Like, I paid good money to see this. But Nas held it down to me. For the first time, I felt hyped to see him in a full-blown concert going hard. I just never thought he had it in him. So I just wanted to give him props for that. Let me see. What else I was going to say?
I tell you this, man. I saw something go down today.
Okay.
It was Melly Mel.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Let's talk about this. Yes.
Oh man. Melly Mel has some comments about Eminem. And he was basically like, he's a white guy. So, he definitely he's talented, but he's large the way he is because he's a white guy. And I hate to say it. And dude, you got to understand, I saw Eminem at a showcase before he was large, and he did not woo me at all. I was like, Dr. Dre's messing with this? Like, it was really underwhelming. What I saw or how I perceived it or whatever. It was like I didn't see the vision. You know what I'm saying? But that was like 1990. Let's say 495, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Now, 2023, he's the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? He's the GOAT of what he does. And I'll say that he could stand up against a lot of MCs. I don't feel that I can't agree with how Melly Mel was just kind of trying to slight him because he's a white cat. You know what I'm saying? And it came off looking like Melly Mel is an old fogey, you know what I'm saying? Mad rapper, you know what I'm saying, and all that. And I hate to see people look like that.
Right.
So I wouldn't normally stand up for Eminem, or just like I said, dude, I saw the guy perform years ago and it was underwhelming, but you know, he was just starting, you know what
But
I'm
I'm about to say, you saw him before he had his hit songs. He didn't even have a
saying?
hit song.
Exactly.
Yeah. You
But
saw 1, 2, ha 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 ha. That dude.
it was more than what my mind could wrap, you know, could digest. But seeing him today, his catalog, just like his body of work, nah, you can't take it away from him, man. You can't take nothing away from the cat.
You know, I enter these hip hop conversations, especially when Nas' name come up. People always got, well, he ain't this guy, he ain't this guy. I said, mind you, you talk about rap, hip hop. So rap is a hard field to make it in because of how many people who made it. It's hard. So if your name, if you are able to headline and make good money, or if you've made good money off of, I was gonna say stand up, you made good money off hip hop or whatever. And even if the money didn't go directly to you, but if you were able to generate money at a high level in hip hop, that's worth praise by itself. I don't know why people think it's cool to like shortchange people who've gotten. If you even are mentioned in the top 10, if people are arguing over you, you know what I mean? That's an achievement. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you talk about right rappers. I'm like, he the only one. Ain't nobody arguing if the Beastie Boys, you know what I mean, if they deserved it or not. And these are legendary guys too. But nobody's having an argument. People love going like, oh yeah, he good, but he ain't this guy. Eminem good, but he's no Jay-Z. Is he in the conversation? That's hard to do. I don't get where people, just because you compare somebody to somebody else, that mean their achievements are just totally like laughable.
Well, Melly Mel's whole thing was, you know, there's a bunch of black dudes that are as talented as Eminem that aren't on or this, that. And then he tried to bring up Royce the 5'9".
I love Royce. Royce ain't never been where Eminem was at. They used to beef. They had a big beef.
I remember.
Yeah. When I was a Royce fan, it was like, oh, this dude, he dissed Eminem. This shit good. He wasn't touching M though. He ain't nasty as M. M nasty. And there's only a few nasty rappers like that. You talk about M, Biggie, you know, just like they'll go there. You know what I mean? Like Royce is clean. He ain't nasty.
I'll tell once again, I'll always give Dr. Dre his props.
Right.
What Dr. Dre is, among so many other things, is a person that can take a battle rapper and teach them structure and teach them how to make songs. And dude, he used the same formula for 50 Cent that he used with Eminem, dude. And he like not saying like 50 Cent was a ghostwriter. He was his pen was ridiculous or whatever. But as far as just like the structure of songs, when you listen to him on his mixtapes and his earlier stuff, he was just kind of like, it was like unbridled energy, just you know, whatever. You get with Dre, dude. Dre takes that and he puts the hooks in the right places. He deals with the right amount of bars in between the hooks, and he turns that battle MC into a mega star, man. And we got to give Dre his props for that, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dre. His legacy is really interesting because I don't know anybody who's had the same amount of offspring that he's had, and you know can flex it like that. You know what I mean? And he got a catalog by himself. No matter who wrote it, people always want to go there. It don't matter, bro. Is his music. Like he could have did the Super Bowl by himself and it would have been a good show. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the fact that he decided to do that and turn these people, he got a couple of misses that I'm not gonna bring up their names because that's disrespectful. But for the most part, when he say you the one, he ain't lying. You know what I mean? So and he put his resources into you. Yeah, I can give you variations of M. I hate when people put blanket statements on certain rappers, especially like Eminem. Eminem is literally one of the most diverse rappers of all time. I mean, he raps about you know, because even me, I'm a Eminem fan, but I can tell you there's stuff he make. I'm like, ugh, what is wrong with you, bro? Like he got a song about putting a gerbil in his butt. What other rapper in the top 10 got a song like that? Not one. And the song sound good, but I don't like it. I'm just saying that, you know, you can't say it's because he's white. Like this dude got fans and direct Eminem fans, not white rapper fans, not rap fans. They're like fans of him, which is what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like you want, like, and of all ages. I think I told you this or I mentioned this on here before. I remember I saw the 22-year-old dude rocking Far Side. And I'm like, what you know about the Far Side, bro? You're 22. He said, I love their music. I love it. He's a fan of the Far Side. He's not a fan of hip hop. He's a fan directly of, you know what I mean? Because he's 22. You know what I'm saying? I can't name groups around it. He was just, he was playing Call of Duty. Song popped up. He liked one song like the other, and then he's in it now. You know what I'm saying? So if a concert happened, he there. You know what I mean? Which is the goal. So to then go to diminish somebody's success like him and be like, oh, he's just getting it because he's white, bro. There's no white rap concert. nobody's paying money to see that at all. Nobody. It would literally be the worst. It was gonna be him, Macklemore. Like nobody's gonna do that. Him, you know what I mean? I don't like defending him too much because he's not one of those people that don't get his flowers. You know what I mean? They'd be like, oh, they don't get enough credit. Him is literally making he's probably making the most money off of hip hop, period. Because not only is he one of the highest selling he is the highest selling rapper of all time. He has a good record deal, which is like unheard of for anybody in the 90s. But
well, I'll tell you the thing that's unspoken. I'm pretty positive that him and Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine have some type of a reach into this whole Power series and all these other adventures that 50 has going on. You know what I'm saying? People like, I'll say Melly Mel, if he didn't want to give him credit for nothing, dude, he put 50 out, man, which was a different 50 than 50 was before he got with Dr. Dre and Interscope. Yeah. 100% different 50 Cent.
You know? And he put on somebody else who his successor is still like he didn't miss. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he made a good judgment call. And I know 50 ain't what he was, but 50 was a monster when he came out.
He's a monster now. I was watching BMF.
Okay.
And you know, just like with Power, he raps on the, you know, the theme songs or whatever. And dude, he was killing it. I was like, damn, 50's busting. I'm like, damn, he's still, you know, he's not on the radio, but he's still a very, you know, very talented cat, very dope music.
Nas inspired him. He said he's going to make another album again. He said this is where, and they're making the King Disease 4, and 50's supposed to be featured on the first single. I don't know how true this is, way early, but I think I was a 50 fan. My controversial opinion on 50, I know you got controversial opinions on rappers. Mine's on him is I don't feel like he's a rapper like that. I think 50 is a singer and he's running from his calling.
Oh man.
If you
I'll say look up the theme song to Power.
Yeah.
Not Power Book, none of that. Just
Big Rich Town. Everybody know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, dude.
Let me tell you what 50 said, though. This 50 saying, now, better than rapping and better than hits or anything else, his business sense, probably number one. I would say probably over Jay-Z because he's so direct about his intentions. You know what I mean? He said straight up, he goes, there's a place for bad music. He said, there's a place for bad music. That's what people don't realize. And it's called TV. That's his own, out of his own mouth. He said that. He can't, like you said, he can't play it on the radio, but it probably gives more spins and generates more money as the intro song Power than it ever would as a hit single.
Oh, I'll give you another one. and not to just go into the dude and just speak more on his genius, but I'll say this, dude, he really mastered a modern day soap opera with several spinoffs all rotating at the same time. Like, dude, the dude has like 3 or 4 soap operas going at the same time. And like me, I've sprinkled into BMF just a little bit and then sprinkled out, but never seen it like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or even a month in a row. Because dude, I was addicted to Power, man. I was like, man, and when I get addicted to something, I'm like, man, I need to be home. I need to be there when the first, when the new episode comes out and all this, that, and the other. He definitely has hooked up with a team, and he knows the formula for addictive, soap opera, modern day soap opera.
Well, 50 he loves this stuff, man. He's a strategic person. He's because when Power came out, the first 2-3 seasons weren't really talked about like that. It was cool, but it was still in the cult classic category. Mm-hmm. When Empire came out, and then people do this all the time. They do Star Wars, Star Trek, whatever, man. But nobody actively goes, man, my show is better than that show, and that show's trash. Because guess what it did? It made us tune into both. Everybody started looking at both shows, but they were still playing nice. Like, oh, 50's crazy. 50's crazy. Dog, their show is panned. Nobody's rewatching Empire. No one. Even the cast members. They're not going to watch Empire again. You're never going to hear anything about Empire other than what goes on with Jussie Smollett in that case. That show is dead in the water. But 50 is strategic. He did that on purpose. And he's big into the 48 Laws of Power. And he even wrote the book 50 Law of Power. Certain things that I admire about him. This is a theory that I came up with. I don't believe in the concept of raises in our society. Like, people, we was taught that if you good at a job, work that job really hard, and one day your boss will give you a raise. Or you ask for a raise. You go, hey, man, I've been working here 5 years, man. I think I deserve to get paid more. This is not true. It doesn't work. If you working hard for less, there's no way I'm going to pay you more. You're going to work less.
Yeah.
The only way to get a raise in this society is, I'll use this example. If you're working for T-Mobile and you're making $17 an hour, I think that's like minimum wage some places. You have to go to AT&T. Sprint's gone. You got to go to all the other places. You put your resume in, and you get you go, man, I want 25 an hour. I want 30 an hour. They're not going to give you that. But they might go, hey, 22. 20, right? And then you go to T-Mobile to work. You go, hey, I quit. And they go, what? What's going on, Jeremy? We thought we had a good thing going. Well, it's like, well, unless you pay me this.
Yeah.
And that's how you get a raise. 50 Cent did that with these shows, man. He went to every network. And every time Stars was talking about, Stars was like, hey, we got a good thing going. Stars weren't even tripping. They was like, oh, 50, we let you do what you want, man. You got a good thing going. He's like, you know what? I like the way y'all treat me around here. You're like, what? Bro, we making money. He goes, I'm leaving. And then that's, what happened. They get another extra season. The rate they had to pay him more money. And then he got shown on ABC. He got, I think it's like on different networks. BMF is on a different network than For Life.
He pulled Stars. He pulled, instead of Stars just being a thing that was just a part of like cable TV, they started giving Stars online subscriptions, start selling them for like, I remember it was like $9 a month or cheaper than $9 a month, or you get it 1 month free and then $9 after that and all that kind of thing. I'll tell you what he did. He made Stars the modern day. He really competed against Fox. So like that Black demographic or that cultural demographic that was just like totally on Fox's side of the aquarium came over to Stars. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing spent like our money, man. I know white money look better and look cleaner, but that black money spend fast and it's
We
shiny.
consumers, man. That's what we do, man.
That black money, they be like, oh, what? It's a spike in the stocks. They be like, oh, black people must really like this item. Yo, you know, it's the dude's smart, and there's nothing 50 does, even if it don't go well. You can't say he didn't plan it. He planned it, and that's what I'm saying. I noticed that. That's one thing I peeped. He would literally start controversy where there's no controverscy. He every time, every season I watched it happen. Every time they'd be like, oh, there's only 2 episodes left in this season of Power. Then 50 would be like, nah, we going off the network, man. He'll tweet. He go like, yeah, Power will be on another network. I'll tune you guys in later. And they'd be like, why? He said they ain't give me what I want, so I'm done. And it looked crazy. It's just like, dude, you was getting paid good money for it, but it worked. It freaking worked. You know, you watch all these celebrities complain about what they get paid and they handle it differently. I'm not saying he's a bad businessman, but you watch Kanye complain. You know, you watch Dave Chappelle. You watch all these people complain. But I always say 50 Cent come out looking the cleanest.
Your boy Kanye, wickedly genius.
Yeah, definitely.
They did not let them Yeezys sit up and dry rot somewhere, and they came back and worked it out, man.
Money make the world go round, man. It can't beat the.
And in my mind, and it's so funny because before they said that him and Adidas kind of worked it out, in my mind, I was like, it's no way they're just gonna allow all these made clothes to just be somewhere and just sit up and just. That's just what it is. I just couldn't see that.
Yeah, dead stock. I still say I'm not even paying attention to what they're doing now. It's the future that I think is going to be interesting. Because the thing that makes, whether it's true or not, the thing that makes Jordans the hot shoe is the fact that they told everybody that the NBA didn't want you to wear the shoes. They said, because Michael Jordan got the famous story, Michael Jordan got fined, I think, $1,000 for every time he wore them. But it's not true. It was the Nike Airships that he wore, but Nike used that to sell the shoe. And that little gimmick is working to this day. People were died over Jordans.
Literally.
Died. I believe the next shoe that Kanye and Adidas come out with is going to be one of the most highly sought after this dead stock. When this dead stock sell, they're going to sell the dead stock.
Mm-hmm.
Once they say, hey, we're done with each other, it's one last shoe. That shoe going to go over for $50,000 on StockX. Hey. Mind you, the most expensive shoe before that is the Nike, the Yeezy Air Yeezy Red Octobers, which is his last shoe with Nike. That's $20,000. You can go right now. That shoe's worth $20,000. If you got them on, you're a fool. I don't need to wear $20,000. I just saw Creed 3. I'm not gonna go too much into it if you haven't seen it. You haven't seen it. But I would like to know your opinion on the Creed franchise as of right now.
I liked one. It's so funny. I've seen Creed on overseas flights, you know, so that's just kind of my thing with Creed. It's nothing that I've ever just sought out, you know, just on GP. I'm just going to watch Creed. It's like I'm going to be on a plane for 8 to 12 hours or longer. And, you know, it's on there. So, okay, we just give it a listen. Give it a watch. I know that they have made a very big deal about this one, and they brought homeboy, is his name Jonathan Majors? That's his name?
Yeah, that's his name.
He was dope in Lovecraft. He was dope in Lovecraft. This whole press around the Creed thing just kind of got me a little.
You want the Michael B. Jordan? Is it Creed, or are you talking about the Michael B. Jordan incident?
Well, I'm just talking about the promotion for Creed with the Jonathan.
Okay.
majors. You know what I'm saying? And just the, the androgynous stuff that they, you know what I'm saying, that they kind of, it for the oohs and ahs, I think. You know what I'm saying? They purposely controversially put out, the pictures and all that kind of stuff, which is just kind of, to me, it's just kind of like, oh man.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
all those are personal feelings and have nothing to do with the content of the movie. But what did you think about the
I'm
movie?
glad you're able to separate that. That's funny.
Oh yeah. So
like I said, I ain't gonna talk too much about the movie per se. Just just
out
to
of
give it
five
some
mics.
5 mics. I give it four,
Okay.
three and a half to 4. But like I said, I'll give it maybe another week or two before I go in depth. But I'll just say the Creed franchise as a whole, I like this franchise. I thought it was a good move. I was watching this one thing, but by the way, are you even a Rocky fan? Okay, well that's a lot. Even though these movies aren't really tied together, like people want them to be tied, But the Rocky franchise, it's funny. Movies don't really get to like 6 and 7 sequels like back in the day. Like even Godfathers and all the like now you get like if you get 3, the third one tend to be whatever. Rocky, the first Rocky was okay. I'm sorry, people would be so mad, but it was mid. There's a lot of talking, not enough boxing. You know what I mean? Like if people will romanticize something, but if you look back at it, you'd be like, what is going on here? You're just watching this drunk dude talk about how dope he, is, and if he got a shot. But somebody pointed out that all these franchises, the whole franchise was about Apollo Creed. Like you couldn't have Rocky 1 without Apollo Creed because Apollo Creed was this big star. He goes, hey man, I want to fight. I want to essentially, they in this new movie, they kind of followed the pattern of Rocky 1 and other Rockies too, but there was some Rocky 1 in there. But he's like, I want to fight this guy, he literally picked them out just because honestly, the reason why he picked out Rocky for the first movie was because he just thought his name sounded interesting. It's like the Italian stallion. That was it. He just wanted to pick a bum to fight, and he picked Rocky. So it was kind of one of those stories where it's just like, man, anybody could be a hero, but there was a draw. Then the second one, of course, he beat him. The third one, he trained him, and the fourth one, Apollo Creed died. So the first 4 Rocky movies, 4 movies, by the way, 4 movies was about the side character more than the main character. Like straight up. You know what I mean? Because if you take out Apollo Creed, these movies could not happen. So then you had Rocky 5 and 6. These movies were bad. Bad movies. Everybody else say it's a bad movie. Then you had Creed. Creed, I thought the first Creed was great. I saw what they did. I'm glad they didn't just, it wasn't just a purely rag to riches story. A lot of characters just pop up out of nowhere, but I get it. You're like trying to pump electricity into a Frankenstein. You know what I mean? So, it's like you gotta revive this dead thing. So there's gonna be some mistakes in there, but overall it was good. The second movie, it was really hard to take. You could tell Ryan Coogler had nothing to do with it. You can tell, man. They went straight from Rocky 1 to Rocky 4. And this movie, I ain't gonna lie, I was so glad they had a black person versus a black person because none of these movies had that. And look, I don't care what you say, dog. The boxing matches I love the most, it was black on black crime, bro. That's just the way I like my boxing. I'm okay when I hear somebody, another race, and they were some good fighters. Don't get me wrong. Pacquiao was a good fighter up until he was fighting later. But man, nothing beats Tyson versus Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Zab Judah. You know what I mean? Like boxing's a black sport. When it's not a black sport, I ain't paying attention. I ain't gonna lie. I know people criticize me. Overall, it's more of a Hispanic sport, but the ones that you pay attention to. So when they had black on black, I'm like, this is it right here. These dudes was taking all the steroids. You know what I'm saying? Like they was more in shape than they ever have been. Even the other Creed movies. Jonathan Majors looking like Diesel, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. And I would say boxing wise, it was okay. It was good. I like the artistic take they made on it. It was different from the other Creed movies. Different. It was different from any movie, any boxing movie. They was very animated with the boxing stuff. Like it was almost
No choreographed.
But it was beyond choreographed. It's kind of like I was saying, it was just kind of tying everything back together. It's different between a live stand-up and a produced stand-up special. Like this is produced boxing. You can do stuff you can't do with regular boxing. So in that way, I don't want to see regular boxing. Like they did this one shot. I ain't gonna talk too much about the movie. I'm just gonna tell you a little thing. You know what I'm saying? He came up like this and he hit him in the start, like he hit him in the side, and it zoomed in. It was like boosh. It was like whoosh. And the camera came in, and you saw a dude react like, ugh. It's like, yeah. And it was like checkmate. That was dope. But they only did it one time.
Yeah.
I'm like, if we gonna go there and these dudes gonna risk their health doing steroids.
Well, I'll say this. Your boy, shoot, man. He was Wallace in The Wire.
Oh, Michael B. Jordan, yeah.
Yeah. So, so Michael B. Jordan, dude, them roids had him so fired up after the last Creed. I want to say he said he could beat Roy Jones Jr., something like that. Yeah, I think he said he could whoop Roy Jones Jr., man. And Roy Jones Jr. had to tell him, like, man, I don't know what this movie did to you. You know what I'm saying? And even if Roy Jones Jr. is old, hey, man, you getting trained and worked out for, you know what I'm saying, for a movie role is totally different than a professional boxer, man. I'll say, dude, it amazes me that for Mike Tyson to have the temper that he had through his whole career, that dude, even in these older days, dude, he could break a man down, dude. And he has not, you know what I'm saying? He's maintained himself enough where he just kind of, you know, has laughed little situations off and whatnot. But he could break a man down, dude, all the way.
Yeah. Tyson's like that perfect height where if you're too tall or you're his height, you're gonna get ran through. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way he's built. You know what I mean? Like he's not that, he's like a perfect height for like sternum and stuff. You know what I mean? Like I get in these little benders on YouTube where I just like study stuff. Like I just get obsessed, and I'll go through a Tyson. I think I'm gonna do another Tyson run. Tyson, he got in there fast, and I'm glad I didn't have money in the 90s because I was a child, but I could only imagine wasting money on a Tyson fight. like you spending all that money and it's over in 3 minutes.
Hey, man, a wrap. But no, man, with that being said, man, we really tried to do Space Boy Boogie X, Andy Perez, and we just ran into the technical difficulties, but it was dope. I got to chop it up with my boy Jeremy Scipio, man.
Hey.
We'll get a more choreographed version of this in maybe every 5-6 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Just one-on-one, you know, hot topics and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Because it was a couple other things that went on, you know what I'm saying, that's out there floating around. Absolutely. But tell me this. Were you about to say something?
No, go ahead. I'll wait for you then.
What you got coming up? What's on the schedule? I saw you had dates lined up.
Yeah, I'm so lazy about that. I'm glad I actually made that. I need to do that more because people like it. They like, oh man, you working. I'm like, this is regular. I mean, I just don't. But you know what? Since you mentioned that, I will bring it up. All right, this month, let's see, Laugh Factory on the 9th. This show called Don't Tell in Long Beach. All these shows, by the way, just hit me up for it because I'm not going to be specific at all. Excuse me. On the 11th, I'm at the Comedy Store. 16th, I'm at the Hollywood Improv. 17th, I'm at Nightcap. in Burbank. Then I'm doing San Diego the 24th to the 25th at Mic Drop, San Diego. Look, if you can drive 2 hours to support me, please do it. I'm not kidding. I got new material I'm working on. That's gonna be the show that I really like show out on, like straight up. I'm doing 3 shows in San Diego. It's gonna be great. 7 and 10 o'clock. And then also I'm doing Westside Comedy Theater on the 26th. Also, real quick, I just want to shout out the chat. People have been rocking with us. Yo Razor, Blue Dragon 777. I definitely need to give you more attention because you was really rocking the whole way through. I apologize to get to everything you said. Jake Major, Brown, of course. I wanted to bring. He said Tiger and Avril Lavigne is a couple. We will talk about that next time. I did not know that. I did not know that at all. Brandon Sutton. Yo, please come back next week, guys. I promise. I love the chat. I love it all. Also follow us at Splendid Radio and all that stuff so we can, so you can come back next week. Yeah.
All good, man. Well, no, man, it's been another episode of Splendid Radio on Farside TV. It was cool chopping it up with you, my man.